Hi everyone. So again, we are on the Yoga Sutra. As you know, I published a few days ago the book I wrote on the Yoga Sutra, which is a new commentary and translation in light of the teaching of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in Amazon. So to celebrate it, we talk more about the sutras themselves, and I was thinking to, in few words, to speak about the first sutra, the first chapter. You know, Maharishi many times emphasized that the first expression of knowledge in any of the different aspects of Vedic literature is very important. And he spent so many hours, for example, just on Agni, to explain how all the process of creation are actually included in this expression, the first expression of Rig Veda. And the same apply to any system of yoga, of Vedic literature. And if we take the Yoga Sutra, the first sutra said, Ata Yoga Nushasanam. Now start the teaching of yoga, or now start the practice of yoga. And it's on the surface it sounds very kind of trivial. What's the big thing about such a sutra? Now start the teaching of yoga. Many commentators even didn't put any attention on this sutra because it sounds so kind of nothing special about it. But it's quite amazing what depth of knowledge we can extract from this single sutra. When Patanjali said now, he means first of all that in the minute that you are in the moment that you are staying, you can start to experience the state of yoga. Vyasa, who wrote commentary, very special commentary, important commentary on the sutras, claims that yoga is samadhi. The meaning of yoga is samadhi. Samadhi, we know, it's a state of transcendental consciousness. When we go beyond all the activity of the mind and we're experiencing pure consciousness, a state where consciousness is completely open to itself without any object of attention. So Vyasa said, any person, irrespective of what guna dominates in his consciousness, whether it is rajas or tamas or sattva, can experience a certain level of samadhi straight from the beginning of the practice. And he wrote it as a commentary to the first sutra, which means that from the first moment a person comes to start, let's say, meditation, doesn't matter what his background, doesn't matter what his belief system, doesn't matter what kind of food he eats or how he thinks, or if he's sattvic person or tamasic person or whatever. If he's doing the right practice, he will experience a state of yoga, a certain state, because Patanjali reviewed the different experiences that we have in meditation, and he gives different criteria for different experiences of samadhi. So it's not that samadhi is only one state of consciousness that we go beyond everything, pure. It has very many variations. You can experience this silent that accompanied by thoughts on a gross level, then on a subtle level. You can experience this silent that at the same time you feel some waves of bliss, of ananda. There are different experiences, but Vyasa said, and by the way, Vyasa was a very famous Maharishi. He wrote the Bhagavad Gita and the Puranas and Mahabharata and everything. So he said that a certain level of samadhi can be experienced from the beginning of the practice. You don't have to wait ages until you will experience samadhi, as some commentators claim, that they said, okay, Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs, you have to go to all the 8 limbs, and finally you will experience the samadhi. But that's not the case if you read properly the interpretation of Vyasa. And by the way, this interpretation, this commentary is considered as really very important. Some people even claimed that Vyasa was the same person as Patanjali. We don't know for sure, but doesn't matter. It's a classic commentary that one should refer to. So from this angle, it's something that, kind of verify what I felt many times as a teacher of transcendental meditation. I'm teaching this technique since 1979. And, I taught over 4,000 people, and I can say from my experience that people are coming from different backgrounds. Certain people are open to kind of spiritual experiences or spiritual knowledge. Certain people completely are far away from all this kind of Vedic thing and spirituality and all these things. And my experience is that irrespective of anything, when they come after a short ceremony, some short instruction, they experience some level of this silence, some level of this pure consciousness. So this is one angle that is very important, that gives the whole tone, the whole kind of emphasis to the work of Patanjali that shows that from the beginning one should experience it. It's not hard, it doesn't require ages of practice and hard practice or concentrating or anything like that. Everything should become simple, natural, easy. That's one point. A second point, it just shows how universal is approach. Now start the practice. It means you have to approach the practice without any prejudice, without any expectation. If you sit in meditation and you have some expectation, you want to experience this state that you read about in some spiritual books, or you heard about experiences of some other persons who describe how beautiful is this experience and so forth, then you lose your innocence. And in order to experience the samadhi, the state of transcendental consciousness, one has to be innocent. So one has to approach the practice without any expectation, completely natural, completely innocent. I think in the New Testament there's one passage where Jesus said that unless one is innocent like a little child, he will not be able to enter the kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of heaven, the interpretation are various on what it is really, but from our angle, it's actually the transcendental, it's actually the state of yoga, it's actually the state of samadhi. So in order to experience it, you have to be completely innocent. Innocent means now start the practice of yoga. Don't think about the past, don't think about the future, just be here and now, do it innocently, and you will see the results. So this is about another angle of understanding of this first sutra. And another thing is that the word Anushasanam in Sanskrit, it refers to knowledge that was previously already mentioned. So in this respect, it's not that Patanjali comes and inventing a new knowledge. Okay? Anushasana means previously it was already practiced. Previously it was already taught. Patanjali, what he does, he doesn't invent anything. He just brings the knowledge of yoga and make it more systematic. He collected all the information that he had in his time about yoga, and I showed in his book, the first part of the book, I think I mentioned it in the other talk, that in various aspects of Vedic literature that are actually chronologically, supposedly, are before Patanjali, like the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita, or some passages in the Mahabharata, in the Puranas, there is description of the state of yoga, there is hints about the practice of yoga. Nobody will teach you, not in this other aspect of Vedic literature and not in the sutras themselves, nobody is teaching you how to do meditation, how to practice. Because traditionally, that was not the aim of these scriptures. Traditionally, one is learning meditation from a teacher in a personal manner, not through books, not through video, not through any digital means, not through some app. The first instruction must be in person. And therefore, we don't find, even in the sutras of Patanjali, which are so elaborating and so kind of going deep into experiences in the practice of meditation, he will not explain how to do it. He will not explain also how to practice the siddhis, these techniques that he referred to as sanyama in the third chapter. He brings the principles. Sanyama is dharana, dhyana, samadhi, but it doesn't go into it. It doesn't teach you how to practice it from this reason, that it's not meant to be learned from a book or from a video or something like that. So Anushasana means it's knowledge that is eternal. It's knowledge that was taught about in the past, and now Patanjali comes and he starts to teach it again in a systematic manner. So you see, in one short sentence, Hatha Yoga Anushasanam, 3 words, how many layers of knowledge we can extract from it. So that's the beauty of the sutras, that they are so condensed and so kind of rich in content that you can read them again and again, and each time you find new meanings. So I invite you again to read this translation and this commentary that I did on the sutras. I think, you see, I was referring in the commentary from many teachers, not only Maharishi. Maharishi is the main inspiration, of course, because he's my teacher, but I refer a lot to Vyasa, to his commentary. I refer to the commentary of Vachaspati Misra and Vijnana Bhikshu and Adi Shankara. We don't know for sure if it's his commentary, but all these different kind of teachers who gave the insight on the sutras, I'm referring to them here and there, sometimes more, sometimes less, in order to create a picture that is not one-sided, that gives the try to understand the sutras from different angles. And I think it's nice because like that we can kind of expand our understanding of the sutras and see them from different angles. So it was great talking to you from India, and I invite you to enter Amazon and see the book and read the samples. Also in the website of the book, one can find more example from the books itself, more pages. You know, for example, all the index is including there. From the index, you can understand the scope of knowledge that is in this book, you know, and also many other sutras, commentaries, because some people, they were complaining, oh, we don't have in Amazon enough samples. But also in Amazon, by the way, if you look the sample pages on the Kindle version and on the actual book, you will see it's different samples. So both together also give you nice feeling of the content of the book. All right, all the best. Jai Gurudev.